And now, from beyond our dimension, this is the JeffMara podcast. Here's Jeff.
My guest is Shawn Maffai, ET contactee, who has been informed about the changes that are coming to Earth and what they are. Shawn, thanks for joining me and welcome.
Thank you. Very much appreciate it.
Shawn, how did this ET contact start for you?
You know, I came from atheist parents that believed in nothing. I mean, zero. And so I grew up that way my entire life. And I never really even thought about the subject. Nothing, just very generic. And so some years later, I had a very good friend. This is probably about 10 years ago. I had a very close friend that passed away. And, it was sad and whatnot and stuff. And within a short amount of time, I started having paranormal experiences in my home. And even my ex-wife commented that she was seeing shadow figures coming in and out of my kitchen. My daughter was having strange dreams. The paranormal experience was when I would wash the dishes, I could feel a presence behind me. And it continued for weeks, to the point of one time I was in the living room watching television at night, and something had started like ripping photographs off my refrigerator, like very diligently. And then my buddy who passed away, his ex-girlfriend started texting me and telling me that vintage toys that she had on her countertop with no batteries in them started moving around. And then when it all finally came to an end, I was washing the dishes one night and I felt this energy behind me, and something came up behind me and went toot toot to my shirt. And then it went away and never came back.
You said that this all started after your friend passed away, right?
Yes.
Do you
Yes.
think that all this activity was your friend trying to contact you?
See, that's the $1 million question. Because I went sometime later to see a hypnotherapist, and that was the first thing she said. Because I said, yeah, I think it's my friend. And she said, how do you know? And I said, gosh, I really don't know. Because she thought it was ET contact. Or maybe it's both. I don't know.
Why did she think it was ET contact?
Because where I'm going to go with this in a minute.
All right. Well, I'll let you go there. Go ahead.
Yeah. So because of what had happened, probably like a lot of people, I started going on the internet and YouTube and started looking into NDAs and, whatever experiences, and started watching videos. And then that led to me seeing a few things popping up about UFOs, a subject that I never even thought about. And so I got really curious. Who knows why? I mean, so curious that I was just cuckoo day and night watching stuff. I'd bring my phone to work and put the earphones in, listening to people's stories, abduction stories. I just went off the charts with it. Then one day when I was sitting at home, I was just having some quiet time with myself. And I said out loud, I was in sort of a meditative type state. And I said, I truly believe in all this. And if you are out there, grant me with an experience. Let me see a UFO. I took my dog for a walk a couple days later. I would carry my binoculars around with me because I was hoping. And sure enough, it happened. I saw a craft in the sky just sitting there, unmoving, locked in. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I kept checking back with my binoculars, and it was what it looked to be.
What did it look like?
It was kind of weird because I never saw another one like that again. It looked like one of those, if you ever watched the old Star Trek series, it looked like the little pod craft that they take to go down to the planets. It looked like this generic shoebox looking white craft. And I thought that was kind of odd because I was expecting to see like some disc or something, But yeah, that's what it looked like.
Like
and
the
so
craft.
shortly after that, I started requesting to see that more often, and what happened? To the point where in the beginning, I was going every day, taking my dog for a walk and seeing UFOs, all different shapes and sizes.
Is it possible that you were so upset and grieving over the loss of your friend that somehow opened you up to extra dimensional beings and or ETs?
Very well could be. Because why? What other reason could there be? What changed? What happened? Something happened. If I had to guess, if I tried to get inside my head and guess, my best friend was a very eccentric individual. I wouldn't be surprised that in the space that he's in now, that he pushed this on me. I would not surprise me.
I'm going to take it a little deeper. Is it possible that your friend is an ET that was having a human experience?
Oh boy. Yeah, you're on the money. Check this out. Just recently, because I kind of put some of that behind me. Time has gone by. Years and years have gone by. I went to the grocery store about a month or so ago, and I'm pushing my cart around shopping, and I think to myself, hey, I want to get a lottery ticket. So I put my cart, I set it where it's supposed to be. I go and get the lottery ticket, go back to my cart, and very unconsciously, I don't even look at my cart. I just take it and start pushing it to go to check out. And I look down, I don't have my cart anymore. I have an empty cart with a bottle of Dunkin' Donuts creamer in it. And I look around, I'm like, whose cart is this? Nobody's claiming it. I see my cart over someplace else just sitting there. So I go back to get my cart and I just leave that sitting there. Nobody comes to get it. Well, guess what? My best friend's name was Duncan.
Oh, wow.
You understand?
Mm-hmm.
That's the kind of character he was and would probably press, so just basically saying, I'm still here,
So how does it evolve from here? Do you start
Oh,
seeing
man.
these
Yeah.
regularly?
So no. I don't know what's to come for me and my buddy, but I hadn't had anything that I perceived as being from him for a long time. That happening was something fairly out of the ordinary. But the UFO thing, back to where when I saw the first UFO, that just kept escalating to the point where I'll try to just start rattling off some things. At the time, I was living in my RV. I was working on my RV one day underneath it, laying on the ground, and I was changing something. And I kind of laid there for a second to close my eyes just to kind of like rest for a second because I was hurting my neck, working on that. I got up, got out, went on to something else, went back under the next day to fix something. And I looked on the metal wall and something had carved alien on the metal on my freaking RV. It wasn't me. Okay, so there's that. Then a few weeks later, I'm just going to rattle off some things. I'm in my backyard in the middle of the night. I'm fixing something, and I get the urge to look behind me into the sky, and I see a fireball coming from space. It looks like it's about the size of a Mack truck tumbling, and I don't know what to think. I think, oh wow, I'm seeing like a meteor or something. It tumbles on like a 45-degree angle and then stops and shifts into something. So I'm like, oh, wow, what's this? So I run and get my binoculars. I'm looking at this thing. Try to imagine this is about the size of 2 football fields. It's a UFO that's black. It's in the shape of an Indian arrowhead. So a triangular shape with the back end, how an arrowhead is. And on all the points, there's this giant light that's like fading in and fading out, fading in. And this thing's just coasting across the sky. The first thing that comes to my head is I see it flying away, and I'm like, this looks like a black Imperial Stormtrooper ship from Star Wars. Just weird. This thing's multi-layered, so there's multi-levels in there. And then chasing behind it is this red fireworks, sparks shooting around. Like, all I can think inside my head is this is some type of dimensional thing behind it, either chasing it or pushing it. I mean, technology that's beyond anything that you and I can even wrap our heads around. And so think of think of this. I didn't just say to myself, oh, wow, look, a UFO, this is amazing. I said to myself, who is granting me this opportunity? There had to be a crew of 100 beings on this thing. So who's saying, hey, you know what? Let's all give this guy a moment in time here to see us. Wow, what kind of clout do I have to get that? This isn't just like a little bubble UFO in the sky with some guy in it. This is like a full-on crew, you know? So, wow, I was pretty impressed by this. So, that was the highlight. Over time, different things would happen. I started seeing, maybe you would call it orbs, and some of them would be different colors. And then I also would see almost like a paranormal type thing where there would be these ghost-like figures in the sky that were like thick, thick smoke. And they would be, whatever you want to call it, undulating, whatever, like changing shape. They were the size of like an SUV in the sky. So there was that I would see once in a while. But when I would see these orb type things that sometimes would be different colors, predominantly they would come in either blue or red. And so I started thinking, I wonder if I could write down, ask questions, and then say, hey, bring me a blue orb if this is a yes, or a red if this is a no. And I was able to create dialogue. And, where I would, sometimes it would take almost a week to get an answer. I'd have to be extremely patient. But I got a dialogue, and I asked a lot of questions and figured out, I figured out a lot of things that they said was true. I can't say they are or they aren't, but this is what they, told me. And so that's what led to a lot of the things that I'm bringing up now. And, then I moved. I'm here, where I'm at now, and a lot of this is faded out. It didn't carry over into my move, unfortunately. But yeah.
Why don't you think they followed you?
I mean, they may be watching me, but I've tried to ask questions and they don't do it anymore. Ever since I've moved.
Were you ever abducted and taken on their ship?
Oh, yeah. So that's the next part of all this. It took me a while to understand what was going on. As soon as I started having these experiences, I no longer dreamt anymore. I didn't, when you go to sleep at night and you dream about your friends, you have some silly dreams, that came to a halt. Everything that happened in my sleep was an actual event that happened somewhere with a whole different set of people. They don't look like us. The places that I'm at don't look like anything I've ever seen. Like, my imagination couldn't even make this stuff up. And so, yeah, those things did happen. I've had experiences where people make these claims of that the aliens put them on a table, and then there's some type of like a surgical event that happens. They do this thing where they would put me on a table, stomach down. So you're laying on a table, and then they take you off somewhere. Well, these crafts, they're able to make the craft appear to have disappeared. So imagine if you're on the craft and you're looking around, you see yourself, but you see yourself just floating in space. And you can look over, and if there's an alien flying the ship, you can see him over there flying nothing. He's just standing there, moving his arms around. You're both just floating in space. That's what it looks like. So I'm laying on this table. It took me a while to figure this out. I'm laying on this table, and all I see is me approaching dirt. And then it gets closer and closer. We hit. I'm looking around, and I see like dirt walls. Then I turn to my side, and I see these tables and all metal, and it's very dim, dark lighting. And I what's going on? So I put myself in a seated position, and I see somebody else in a seated position on the other side of the room. And then bam, the craft starts closing in and turns into an all metal craft. You can literally see it closing in. And then you can see, the internals of the craft, and then bam, it lights up white light, like you can't even see in front of your face. There's so much white light. You can't even figure out where you're going. And from there, I don't understand what happened beyond that. I'm above the table on the ceiling looking down, and I can see one of these individuals below me. It's all white light, and I just sort of fall out of the craft into this cave. And I'm looking around, and I see this cave system, and I see two women walking towards me, chalk white skin. They walk right, they don't even look at me. They walk right towards me. They don't look human. Their features are not human, and their skin is just way too white, like literally chalk white. And they walk right past me, and they just keep on walking. They don't even look at me. And then, click, I fade out.
Let me backtrack for a moment.
Yeah.
What were you doing when you were abducted?
As far as in my regular life?
Yeah, like for this
I
experience.
don't remember.
Okay, so you don't remember how you were abducted at all. And it wasn't during sleep, and it wasn't a dream.
No, it was during sleep, but I know, and this is always going to be questioned by people. It wasn't a dream. The clarity and everything. I don't know if it's happening during the evening or if I'm just remembering it. Because like I said, I don't dream anymore. I just remember events because they all connect to each other. Each time I go into that state, it'll connect to the last time. The same places, the same people, the same things. And I know that people are going to question it, but when you do hypnosis, it is sort of going into a dream state, getting in that relaxed state. So, that's just sort of where that stands with things.
Were you ever abducted during waking life?
No, not well, not that I know of. I've had moments of like quick missing time where things don't make sense and objects that I had with me disappeared. But they're so good at what they do that it's hard to piece it together. I'll just give you one quick example. I was working on my car and I had a big gold bolt in my hand. And I walked away from my car and I tossed it in the air and put it in my pocket. All of a sudden, everything shifted. I reached into my pocket and the bolt's gone. And I'm like, not only does everything feel a little different, but the bolt's gone and I never found it again. So it's situations like that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They're good, boy. I mean, they're good at what they do.
Who do you think those women were? ETs?
Yeah, and we'll get into it more. I'm fairly certain they're a type of hybrid.
Mm.
Yeah. What they're exactly doing and where we were, I couldn't say. If I had to guess, I would say it's maybe some type of cave system, here on the planet. Something to that nature,
Mm-hmm.
Because there's a much larger picture going on here. And as time went by with the information that I was getting from them, it led to more information and me learning more things as far as like why this is happening and what's going on and who we are and what we're doing here and all this type of stuff.
Let's talk about some of the questions that you asked them. Give us some examples.
Yeah, I would have to set it up to where it was a yes or no answer. So it would get complicating. And I know some of this stuff's going to sound kind of wild, but they would confirm that there was, hybrids on Earth. I asked them who I was, and they said, no, you're not human. Not only are you not human, you're not even from this planet, not even from this galaxy, as far as who you are. And that, things like Bigfoot are a part of what they're doing here. Events that are coming, possible certain types of catastrophes that are coming, various things like that. Basically, a lot of things that were confirming my thoughts, of what was going on and who they are. And I can get into more of that if you want.
Yeah, because you're saying that big change is coming,
Yeah.
but you had to phrase that in a yes or no question. So
Yeah.
what kind of
That what I got out of it was that the earth for humans is some type of a school, and that in this three-dimensional space that we live in, it's sort of mandatory if you want to be a part of the larger picture. And I can get it, because from what I gathered, they want they don't want to send beings out into everything that's going on and have them be violent or uneducated, unknowledged. The time on earth that we have and all the experience that we're having helps us to grow and become better beings. And as we grow and they introduce more technology and we move forward, we start advancing and becoming closer and closer to this larger picture, and eventually joining this, what they call this, federation type thing. And you can understand why it would work that way, because your body eventually is going to die. And if we want to go into space, this body requires tons of food, oxygen, various things. Our body is going to have to change if we want to go further into the bigger picture.
So is that part of the big change that you're talking about?
Yeah.
Our bodies.
Yeah, that's 100%.
Change.
That's a big, huge part of it. So as we're changing and getting closer to that bigger picture, we're learning that the human body is being introduced, or mind and body is being introduced to these changes. It's basically evolution, but they're the ones controlling it. They're the ones pulling the strings. But as we become more intelligent, it becomes more difficult to be sneaky, to do this behind the scenes, because we're watching, and so they have to keep becoming more and more clever on how to keep this in the shadows. Because if you're living a life on Earth and you know everything that's going on, if you're not happy, you're just going to say, I'm out. I just want to leave. There has to be some secrecy to keep you moving forward, And so the change that we're going to be going through now is another evolutionary change. So it's going to be mind and body change. That we're going to live longer. Telepathy is going to be introduced, which is going to be a huge thing. And not only will humans be introduced to that, everybody's going to be a part of the change. Animals, the plant life, anything that carries energy is going to be a part of that change. And so with the telepathy is going to bring on a whole lot of new ways of perception and seeing things and communicating, all that type of stuff.
Did they give you a timeline for this?
No. And I think that they don't know. I think that there's, three possibilities: that we slowly move into this change, or if there's a catastrophe, or we do something violent, whether it be war or something, then it's going to be pressed upon them to start the change.
You're from another galaxy, right?
What they told me, and I felt it. I asked that because I already felt it.
So are you here also going to school, or are you here for another reason?
Yeah, there you go. Very, very good question. So there's two things going on. There's people that call themselves abductees and experiencers. Basically, they're both the same thing. And then on the craft, there are hybrids. An abductee experiencer is an alien that is living a human life. The purpose of that is to learn about humanity, to have all that information logged in. You're like a walking history book. But at the same time, you're turned off. There's a system of that. You're split into two people. You are a alien living a human life. And then when you're clicked on and you're on the craft, you're an alien, experiencing the human life. And they can click you on and off. So there's you that's on the craft, and then there's you that's on Earth. And then for the hybrid, The hybrid is having an alien experience living in a human body, learning about alien world, and then being taught some things about humanity. Because what's going to happen is the two are going to merge. Eventually, what the change is that they're going to come to Earth. The abductees and the hybrids are going to come together, and they're going to reformulate this planet, the change. So they're going to raise the vibration of this planet. The what I told you about the changes to the mind and body will be what of that that's going on. Humans, as they start dying, will not be coming back for now. And I know people say, "Oh, there's aliens coming to take over the planet." That's not what's happening. The humans are being asked to, they're leaving the planet and going back to the source. And then once the change comes, the vibration is raised, everything's been brought back to brought to where they want it to be. The reconstruction of technology and things will be taking place on the planet, and just naturally, the human abductees and the hybrids will start having relationships and have children, and they'll teach those children telepathy, the new technology. And once the mantis beings feel that we're at a stable point, they'll start reintroducing humans to the planet. They'll be born from abductees and hybrids. Those humans that are born will be taught the telepathy and the technology and those things. And, they'll grow up. And as time, they'll have children. Slowly, as time goes by, abductees and hybrids will be, when they pass away, they'll be not asked to come back. And we'll slowly integrate ourselves into just a human planet again. The humans won't even know what happened.
All right, let me stop you for a moment here. Let me make sure that I'm following you.
Okay.
There are only two types.
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack.
There are only two types of beings here: abductees and hybrids, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, and regular humans.
And regular humans as well. So there's three of us here.
Yeah, so technically three. The humans are slowly leaving, but, and we'll get it down to just those two.
Okay.
The two are the same. They're just having two separate experiences. The hybrids are on the ships having that experience and being taught all that technology, and the humans are having a human experience. Because when the two come together, they can bring their two sources of information together: human life and alien life. Because they need us to full on live it, to live it, to understand the laws that are the personalities of humans, their history. I've had the aliens, people have said that they've put abductees in situations to help somebody from a burning fire in a house. This is all make-believe. And they save that person from the fire because the aliens are trying to understand what the word rescue means. You understand what I'm saying? And they want to understand what the process is and the emotional reason why you would want to save somebody from a burning fire when you could get yourself killed. They want to understand humanity and then integrate that into everything. They want to make sure that humans don't lose their history in amongst this big, huge change, which is good.
So you're saying that as the humans die, they're going to go be with Source.
They're going to go back to Source.
Until Human 2.0 is created.
Yes.
Then they're all coming back.
The actual vibration of this planet is going to raise. We will still be in the third dimension, but the vibration, there's aliens that are here that could walk right past you and you wouldn't see them because they're on a higher vibration. So we are going to move into that vibration. And not just not just people, animals, plants, everything. I've had people say that they were on a craft that's huge, huge, and they've seen rows and rows farther than your eye can see of plants. And they've asked the beings, what is this? And they said, it's for the new earth. I've seen I had an abductee say they saw rows and rows of people. And they've asked him, what was that? And they've said that they're categorizing them.
You talked about mantis beings. One, are you saying that you saw one flying the ship And two, they're the beings that are in control of everything here.
I have not seen them flying the ships. I've just seen, the various grays and stuff like that. But just from what I've been told from them and other abductees, that the mantis beings seem to be like, for our simple minds, almost like military, like the guys behind the scenes running the show in more of a orderly way, you know. And then who knows what's above that? It's probably endless.
And you're saying that's basically ET military.
Yeah. So does that make sense? That the raising of the vibration of the planet, animals, people, everybody's going to raise with that vibration. And you would think, I mean, I know this is on a silly form, but you would have to raise the vibration on animals because we talk to our animals. Could you imagine telepathically talking to your animal? He's going to flip out. So they have to be a part of the change, you know? And, we know that plants carry energy, that they play a role in things. So new plants introduced. I've heard abductees say that new plants that will be introduced will be like a new form of food source that's going to be, a lot simpler for us to get the nutrition that we need. Because everything's going to have to get simplified if we're going to head into space someday. A lot of things are going to have to change. And I know it's, when you really think about it, when you look at when people talk about gray aliens or something like that, look at them. I mean, they look like the perfect thing for space travel.
Mm-hmm.
Skinny, skinny, skinny. I mean, how much nutrients would that need? And just the whole, the setup. My guess is with the changes that we have coming, we're probably heading in that direction. And abductees have said, and they've said that we are you in the future. But people misconstrue that and say, oh, it's us in the future. They're time travelers. No, they're just saying that we're you in the future. We are where you're heading, where you're going.
Right now, there are 8 billion people on the planet, more than ever.
Yeah.
How do you explain that?
If I had to guess, I would say that as the humans are going out and the abductees are coming in, there's probably this shift where there's just a little too much of one as the other is going out. And that there's a little bit of a twist to some of this. And I don't want to say that I'm confirming on this because this is just hearsay. But I do hear it from people that have, talked to the alien beings, and some of it seems true. Some of the humans might not be coming along. Some of them might be staying. Some of them just aren't getting it. Might have to stay in this dimension and stay in this situation and learn until they can get there. They're just not catching up. And so that might be why there's so many, because some might just be staying.
It doesn't make sense to me because if this place is going to raise in frequency, then where are they going to be unless they're going to create?
They'll be in this frequency. So like what I said, if there's an alien walking around here that's vibration has been risen, I don't see him. Mm-hmm. So if we raise our vibration, the ones that don't come along will be stuck here in this. So there'll be 2 Earths, but the same place in the same 3-dimensional space. That makes sense.
Yeah. And some of my other guests have spoke about that with the ascension, that there is going to be 2 Earths. So
yeah, there's people that have gone to Venus. There's abductees that have said they've gone to Venus and seen cities there that aliens are living on. Living in, but I don't see that. When we look at the photographs, it's just a dirt pile, But if you raise the vibration and you go there, it's freaking Las Vegas. It's a whole different thing. We don't know. We're not mentally there yet. But that's what I've gathered from it. And putting all that information together, I feel pretty confident. It seems to all add up. Anybody that wants to debate me is more than welcome to debate me, and I would go toe to toe with them. But that's what I've gathered from it.
Well, if they want to contact you, what's the best way to do it?
Probably through my email.
Do you want to share it with everybody?
Yeah, it's my name. It's Shawn, SHAWN dot Maffei, MAFFEI at yahoo.com. And I wanted to add to that too, is that I haven't done any conferences or anything like that. If anybody likes what they're hearing, contact me and I would love to join in on something like that and spread the word, if anybody finds this attractive to them, the people that run those type of things.
Should we be preparing for these changes? And if so, how?
Yes. And I should have brought that up before. Because the big reason why we're here is we need to be spreading positivity. Because I think a big part of why they've picked certain abductees, from what I've been told, that are highly peaceful and not violent. I think a lot of what they're trying to do at this point is the humans that I said that might not be possibly moving forward, they want them to move forward. And so that might be why the population is high right now. Those humans that aren't cutting it are here with us. And the beings are hoping that we can turn them around with positivity. Maybe if somebody's violent to me and I act in kindness, they'll think about it and think, you know what, maybe I need to change my ways and try to turn this thing around to where we can get it to the point where everybody's coming aboard. Everybody's going to move along together in this change. So yeah, absolutely. If you're an abductee, you should be not preaching, but spreading kindness, love, good nature. Oh, if you see the little old lady that needs help, help her. If you see, when I came to the store today, I saw a guy that I know that works at the store and he was walking, sweating. I pulled over and I said, "You need a ride?" He jumped in and we had a nice conversation. It put a smile on his face. He got out of the car and he went to work. I made that guy's day better and I made the energy that we carry better and hopefully set him on course, towards where we're going. If more people kept doing that, turn it around, So yeah, absolutely.
Do you think AI plays a part in this?
Man, I've gone back and forth with all this. We have this system of AI, and then people talk about, they don't use the word God as much, and they call it the source. The source is the source is us. We all go back to the source, and we are all the source. I mean, AI is all of our information, all of us put into a computer system. That's like computer version of the source. It makes me wonder, what is all of it in the long run? I don't want to get into the whole matrix thing and all that, but it really makes me wonder, how that all works out. Yeah. AI I don't think it's going away anytime. It's not going away. It's going to evolve.
Do you think that a lot of our tech was given to us by them?
Oh yeah, absolutely. All of it. I know that sounds like a bummer, but nothing is an original. Nothing is, I discovered this. Everything is introduced. Everything is planned. The sequence of events is planned. And that's why people say, oh, when I was on the other side, there is no time. It's all, everything's the same. It's because your life reads like a book from beginning to ending, but you're on page 10. Doesn't mean that you're going to go live on page 50. It's just that it's already written, but you're living it page by page. You can maybe take a glimpse at page 50, but you can't go live page 50. You still have to be where you're at on page 20 and go to 21, 22, 23. And they know exactly what's coming and what's next. It might not be to the letter the same, but it ends up the same as far as what the events.
If somebody is a hybrid or an abductee, how would they know it?
I can tell. I got the gift of knowing who is and who isn't. But the way they can tell is, think about me. I came from atheist parents. I never thought about this subject. But as soon as I got a glimpse of it, I was addicted. I couldn't put it down. If I was a human, I probably would just walk away from it. The amount of abductees that are here now are in the millions on top of millions, you know? And I know you can, I don't want to make you uncomfortable, but I know things that characteristics of a person that's going to point out who is and who isn't. I'm not going to say it because it's not my business. And if somebody wants to be private and not have people calling them out, I'm not going to say it. But I mean, look at what you're doing. Look at your interests, Jeff. Come on, man. You got to think inside your head. Jeff, come on.
You never know.
I do.
You do. Have you ever been walking in the public and just thought to the public, I see you. I know you see me. And after thinking that, have somebody pick up your thoughts and turn around and look at you?
I've had a guy, because also too, the aliens bring hybrids down here every so often to experience human life. And I swear, I went to turn something in for a company here in town. I won't say the name of the company. And me and the guy that worked there locked eyes. And I never do this because it's impolite. I locked into this guy's pupils and I wouldn't let go. And he did it to me and wouldn't let go. And I thought, this is awkward. And I thought, what are we doing here? And then I clicked out and walked away and I thought, man, I just locked in with a freaking hybrid. I know it. The chills just ran through me. There was just this wham, wham, wham. You know what I mean? He's not going to say one way or the other, And then I run into abductees all the time, but I don't say anything because I don't want to make people uncomfortable.
I would assume that the majority of the abductees may have some questioning about or think, okay, maybe, but they really don't believe it.
Yeah. Once you click into it and you really know it, you can start picking it out. There's very key things. And one is, like I said, if you bring up this subject, I've said to people, hey, look, there's something in the sky. And people are just like, okay, whatever. And they walk away and I'm like, well, you're not interested?
As an abductee, you're supposed to be here experiencing humanity.
Yeah.
So shouldn't you not know that you're an abductee?
Man, your questions are uncomfortably on point. Yeah. They don't want me doing what I'm doing, but since we're living a human life, we have the freedom of free will. We're living in a human situation. And so they have to back off to a certain point. They're not allowed to control the narrative to a certain degree. But yeah, and we have contracts coming in and we agreed that we're supposed to just lead a human life. I'm probably breaking my own rules that I set for myself. You don't want to go experience a tribe in the jungle and all you do is sit on your laptop the whole time, watching YouTube,
Yeah, makes sense.
You want to be engulfed in it and be it, But if you know all those things, it's hard to not want to reconnect to who you are. And life is hard. They say, the aliens even say, this is one of the hardest places you'll ever come to. This is like the king of learning. It's rough. If you knew that you could just leave and go to the source to where it's all beautiful, people would just be like, I'm checking out. I'm out of here. But once they live their whole life, and at the end, they're like, man, thank goodness I didn't, I made it through it and I've gained a lot of knowledge. My soul has become stronger and better for it all and all that. That's why the secrecy is there. So, yeah, I guess I'm a little bit of a rebel. I'm breaking the rules here.
After this life, would you come back and do it again?
Oh, man, you're just killing me. This is a question that runs through my head every single day. Every day I come to this point of the day because I try to talk to them and say, I'm out. I'm freaking done. I'm sick of this. You guys don't cut me any slack. You don't let me have any money. I live in poverty practically. I'm just work. Everything's work. And I've said, I'm out. And then I'll collect my thoughts and say, no, wait. No, I'm not out. I want to stay, And so let's just say a hypothetical situation. I make it through this life. The change starts. The vibration is risen. Would I want to be reborn and come back and be a part of the change? I don't know yet. Right now, I say yes. But there's days where I say no because I feel so burned out, you know?
Well, is it possible you just want to go back to the other galaxy where you're from after you complete your mission here?
Yeah, very well could be. But think about this. When I saw that arrowhead looking UFO, and I'm saying to myself, maybe, I even said it to myself. I was like, come back. You know, like, I want to be with you guys. But do I? I mean, does an office worker always want to be stuck in the office? A lot of times when these small aliens come down and talk to people, the life that they're leading isn't exactly fun. I mean, it's a lot of hard work. And being stuck on a UFO all day and abducting people and having them flipping out and them practically trying to kill you because they don't understand what's going on. You do that all day, you get kind of burned out. And so being on Earth, we have free will. I'm experiencing free will. And I need to respect that because on the craft and working with the beings, from what I've gathered, you don't exactly have free will. The mantis beings crack the whip. You know, it's all business. And so I try to come to a ground level sometimes and respect what I have here on Earth. And I have my dog who's been just the most amazing thing in my life. And I tell him I love him every day and he sheds a bunch of love on me. And I've had my daughter who's constantly telling me she loves me. The experience here, when my time comes, will have been an extremely positive, good experience. You know, but there's days when it's bad. But there's days when it's rough.
Yeah.
That I don't know if I come back or not.
If people want to contact aliens, especially the people out there that think they're an abductee, how can they do it?
Yeah, why did it happen to me? Why did it happen? This is what I think. If you engulf yourself into this subject, there's going to be a point where they may or may not think you're ready. I feel that there was a point where they just said, you know what? He's there, whether we show ourselves or not. He's not letting this go. He's there. He knows it's happening, whether or not he sees the UFO or not. So for whatever reasons, they cut me some slack. And I think that they may do that for others. So if you feel the need, you know, if you feel like you just can't let this go, then go ahead and go there. But you don't have to. You did come here to experience humanity. You don't have to go there, you know. You're going to go there eventually someday anyways. So it'd be good to just experience life. But if you're getting depressed, see, I was getting very depressed. And I was starting to head into a negative direction. So maybe they thought that that was the only conclusion to keep the ball rolling, you know? And it worked because it lifted me up and it kept me going. So maybe that was part of it too.
I think you've probably watched some of my near-death experience videos.
Oh, yeah. I love your show.
So what's going on with that?
Yeah, I'm glad you brought it up. Man, you're really hitting it with me here because I was going to forget to say this. Do you agree that it seems like there's more and more of them happening than normal? It seems to be escalating.
Yes, but that may be due to our ability to resuscitate people.
Yeah, or it may be our technology that we're talking about it. I don't know. My opinion is that there's more of it. And I think that it's because partially people that maybe weren't going to head in that were maybe going in the negative direction have an experience, and then you hear it on your show, they come back and want to put out positivity, you know? And so they may be giving these people these experiences to try to guide them into being included in the change, you know? Some of your stories are people that were intentionally not going to be here anymore. And then they have that experience and it turns things completely around. Or people that had addictions and various things, you know what I mean? And that NDA, whatever, turned that around. I'm not certain, those may have been people that just were going in the wrong direction and this reset them.
Do you think humans, hybrids, and abductees are all having NDEs?
Woo. Okay, check this out. I've watched your show plenty of times, but I've not seen this, up to this one point. I was sleeping about 3 weeks ago. And sometimes you just wake up in the middle of the night, you roll over, you wake up for a second, maybe you have to use the bathroom. As I'm waking up at like 1 o'clock in the morning, before my eyes even open, I hear telepathically, "Are you ready?" And then I'm like, and I got kind of scared. And then I went to the bathroom and went back to bed. 2 days later, I'm watching your show and I hear a lady say, "Well, I got into this car accident and just before the diesel hit me, I felt this presence behind me and it said, 'Are you ready?'" And then I heard that a couple other times from other people's experience and I thought, "Oh no, what's coming?" It scared me, man, because I don't know. To be continued, right, Jeff?
Yeah. Before we finish up, can you leave us with a last positive message?
Yeah. Spread love. Be kind to others. Slow down. Take a step back. Look around your surroundings. There's people around you that are having a harder time than you. And just cut them a little slack and give them a little helping hand and see what comes back. I guarantee you, you will feel better and your day will be better. I promise you.
Shawn, thank you for your message and thank you for being my guest.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for watching the JeffMara podcast. I really appreciate you. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. And if you do, there are loyalty badges and other perks depending on your level of membership. All you need to do is click the join button underneath the video to find out more. Thank you for your support.